is difficult.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Change Makers podcast. My name is Elizabeth Leonard, and this is a platform where we've got influencers, people who are transformational leaders that are making huge impacts in their environment and in the lives of many. And I am so honored to have Lee Immerzeel here. He's an executive coach and also a public speaking coach, and with a specialty in TEDx. He has spoken on TEDx many times. Hi, Lee. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. And I'm also looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have today.
Yeah, I know you've helped a lot of people and you've been a TEDx speaker and you're still helping a lot of people. Can you just share with us what you do?
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you for the introduction that you did a moment ago. I'm a two-time TEDx speaker myself. So mainly at the moment I'm coaching other speakers who want to become a speaker who are a speaker and they want to get on a TEDx stage. So
Okay.
that's my main passion. But coaching is something that's in my DNA for so many years because I'm an executive coach for over 7 years now, 7+ years. But if I
Wow.
look back to my whole career, it was always about training, mentoring, helping someone forward with their personal development.
Mhm.
And I made that my career and my business. So it's beautiful to see that even if someone has a fear of public speaking, they are still able to also give a TED talk or speak on different stages.
Yeah.
That's a possibility because people can change, they can learn, adapt, and can improve their skills.
Right. Thank you. And what inspired you to start all of these projects?
Yeah.
Yes, everyone needs a coach.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If I look back at my life and if I look back at my past and how I was raised, but also I had a major fear of public speaking. When I stood in front of a classroom in the past, or when I have to give a presentation at work, for me that was terrifying.
Um,
Maybe for people on the outside, sometimes it didn't seem like that, but I
yeah.
really felt uncomfortable. It was like always sweat pouring out everywhere, and when I get red, you see it. So it was like for me, it was more like, okay, can I run out of this classroom and get away from this? Although all those faces of the kids in the classroom or people at
Mhm.
work, I was with them every day, and still it was like so uncomfortable. And the opinion in my head, I always thought like, oh yeah, they will have an opinion about me. Yeah, I hated it. And I can remember that for many, many years, I struggled with that until around 21, 22. Um, Others started to say to me, like, Lee, you could
Mhm.
be a trainer. The word coaching wasn't known in that time. That's more
Mhm.
than 20 years ago. And I said, come on, get out of here. That's not something I like. I hate it. But they really said, you could do that. You could become a trainer and you could
Mhm.
help people. And that always was like a little voice that sticked in my mind
Yeah.
because there were others who already believed in me
Mhm.
before I believed that I could do it myself.
Hmm. Wow.
And on that journey that I had for so many years, learning and growing and practicing a lot.
Yeah.
I think maybe the first 50 to 100 times I still didn't like it, even if I talk for 2 minutes
Hmm.
or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I did it. And in the end, I came to realize that I had developed a skill and a passion that I could help others with.
Yeah.
Speaking in public, so that was a passion, but also I can help others to overcome their fear of speaking in
Mhm.
public.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if I, as a someone who feared to stand in front of a group,
Yeah.
although I was looking very brave on the outside many times, like a
Mhm.
young boy with
Mhm.
a big ego,
Mhm.
and I came to realize if I can do 2 TED Talks, and I had a fear of public speaking in the past, and someone
Yeah.
else can do the same thing too.
Yeah.
And that became my mission. So my mission, maybe to add to that, is to help ordinary human beings, just like you and me,
Hmm.
do extraordinary things, like
Yeah.
giving a TED talk. That's my mission and my passion,
Wow.
because I believe that people have amazing potential inside of them.
Wow. Thank you so much. I took notes of some things, some key things that you mentioned while talking because you
Hmm.
said, I haven't done it even the first 52 times. You still
Yes.
didn't like it.
Mhm.
And that's one thing we all need to hear that it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect when you start. And you just need to just keep going. And the story is interesting when you go back and you see the trends of your progress and
Yeah.
improvement. And
Yeah.
that's why it's also easier for one to share the journey with people so that they can know that they don't have to be perfect before they do it.
Completely, completely
Once you
true.
start and you keep going, you figure it out, it gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
And thank you for not giving up.
Yeah.
So, how did you get to being a speaker, a TEDx speaker?
Yeah. So that was an amazing journey. So I spoke a lot. I spoke a lot at work. I spoke a lot
Mm-hmm,
at speaking events
mm-hmm,
in church.
mm-hmm,
I had
mm-hmm.
so many moments and hours already of speaking experience,
Okay,
to small groups and bigger groups, that
okay.
I said to myself in 2018, when I did another speaking course,
Mm-hmm,
to also get to know myself a little bit better as a speaker and also to develop myself even more.
okay.
I said to myself, okay, what is the next level or the next step for me to grow?
Yeah.
And then I said, like, that is a TEDx talk or a TED talk. TEDx is the local event, and
Mm-hmm,
TED talks are the talks that you give at a TEDx stage.
yeah.
So I said, okay, that is a challenge. So let's see what we have to do. And what I did is very simple. Is what is the most of the time what I do, even when I feel something is challenging or if I fear something, I say,
Mm-hmm,
what's the first small step that I have to take? Now, the first small step for me to get on a TEDx stage was finding out where there were TEDx or TED events. So
okay.
I just went on internet, on Google and
Wow.
on Facebook, and I searched close to where I'm living,
Right.
where are TED events? So I found three events, and I saw on their websites and I saw on their Facebook profiles that I could apply. In this case, it was that you could do a pitch event of 3 minutes,
Okay.
and that would give you a possibility to get selected. Not for sure, but because you have to get selected. It
Wow.
depends on the topic, depends on the speakers, depends on
Yeah.
several criteria. But I did, I just registered for two, and I
Wow.
got selected in the end for both.
Wow.
So that was such an
Yeah.
amazing thing.
Yes.
And yeah, the first time was in front of 200 people. The second time was 800 people.
Wow.
Very professional, organized events, and a great experience to go through. But for me, the thing was also for the first event is that after that we had a practice moment or a practice evening with all the speakers. They said,
Wow.
like,
Wow.
we want you to end the event. You will be the last one. You will close I said, oh, thank you. More pressure on my shoulders. But you know what it is? Um, what I see is that
Yeah.
we make it sometimes so big in our head. And
Mm.
so we say, like, oh, TEDx, oh my God, that's huge. That's only for professional speakers. But it isn't true, because also
Yeah.
TEDx values speakers who are new, because
Mm.
in their journey to
Yeah.
getting on stage,
Yeah.
you will be prepared. Not at every TEDx, not at every local TEDx event, but
Mm.
at some of them you are.
Yeah.
Or you could hire a coach that will help you to get prepared on stage. And
Yeah.
what I see is if you make it smaller in bite-sized steps,
Yeah.
the first step for me wasn't getting on that stage. The first step was, as I just said, was, where are the TEDx events? That was the first step. And
Wow.
that desire that I had to move forward in this area, it was November, October 2018. I wrote on my vision board on a piece of paper,
Wow.
I wrote, I am a TEDx speaker in present tense.
Wow.
In March 2019,
Wow.
I stood on the TEDx stage.
Wow.
And you know, I know that I'm special. In a sense, everybody is special, but I'm not more special than someone
Nice
else.
one.
5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 months. So that was the birth of a dream, of a goal.
Yeah.
Every day I spoke it out loud. Every day, every morning I said, I am a TEDx speaker. If I felt it or if I
Wow.
didn't feel it. And every morning I wrote in my journal, because I use my morning routine.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do is I journal. And I
Okay.
wrote also in my journal,
Mhm.
I am a TEDx speaker. I spoke it out loud and I wrote it in my journal. And 5 months later, I stood on the TEDx stage.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. This is just so good. This is cool. It's awesome. Thank you for sharing every bit of all of this.
Yeah,
And
you're welcome.
I know you said something that we magnify this thing in our mind such that it seems as if it's insurmountable. It's not possible to achieve it. It's for certain kind of people.
Yeah,
And those who are on the platform, those who have the platform or those who are succeeding, they are just normal people like you. They are just normal people like us. And that shouldn't, they experience, they feel the same way we feel. Are you scared? They were scared. Are you nervous? They experience all of this. They just try to push themselves to make efforts regardless of all of that.
yeah,
And
that's true.
thank you. If they have given up, we won't have an example. And you are one of those that's
Yeah,
inspiring people because of all of these things that you've shared now.
yeah,
I know that someone out there will be hopeful or will have hope to
mm,
dream to work towards achieving that goal or that dream. And I like the fact that you said you wrote it down
yeah,
and you were telling yourself every day, every morning.
yeah,
You kept on saying it, and you didn't stop at that.
yeah,
You search on the internet how to
yeah,
become, even though there are people, you were blessed to have some people who said you could start teaching people. And you were the one, you used to be someone who was always sweaty and nervous about speaking. So
yeah,
if someone like you is there, just know that it's possible.
yeah,
What it's a mindset.
yeah.
You just need to
Yeah.
talk yourself out of it.
Can I add something to
Yeah.
that? Because when you were saying these things, I was just playing the movie in my
Mm,
head. Also, is if I'm looking at how I develop myself in the speaking area,
mm,
because still I'm sometimes I'm still amazed how the whole journey went.
yeah.
But um, one of the most important things is to have a community of others around you who
Mm,
support you, believe you, and cheer you on, or give you honest feedback. Because we also sometimes need feedback that we can grow and learn and
right.
adjust.
Right.
Um, because if I look at myself, there were in all those phases of growing and learning as a speaker,
Mm-hmm.
there were always people around me who helped me achieve my goal. I didn't do that alone because what I
Mm-hmm.
see so many times in so many people who have
Yeah.
a passion, a desire, they want to accomplish something extraordinary, they want to
Mm-hmm.
make impact, is that they try to do it all alone. Now, I know there are people around us in the world, they can do it completely on themselves. I know those people. But for me, working with a lot of people, um, that's an exception. That are the exceptional people. Most of the people need a community
Yeah.
that supports them to get where they want to be.
Yeah. Right.
And because when I make a decision and I say to someone, hey, I want to become a TEDx speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and I make it publicly known or I make myself accountable to someone else,
Yeah.
the chance is so much bigger
Yeah.
that you're gonna do it and achieve it.
Yeah. And
Because we so, sometimes this is me. Yeah, sometimes I'm inspired. I say I'm gonna do this,
yeah.
but then there will be days that I'm thinking
Right.
like, what in the world did I decide? Why did I do that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then we need those people around us.
Mm-hmm.
And I have those people offline and online.
Yeah.
They sometimes encourage me, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they speak the truth in love to me. And they say like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I think you said you're gonna do this."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You just
Okay,
know that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
work on it. So
Yeah.
I, I'm so grateful for those who supported me, who encouraged me, who spoke the truth and love to me, because I didn't do it on my own.
Yeah.
I did it together with all those people who
Right.
helped me get, in this example, then on the TEDx stage.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
This is just so insightful. I don't think there's anyone who can do it alone. It might not necessarily be your close community, I mean, family or friends, like you said, online and offline.
Yes.
Now that on the internet, there are different support groups that you can learn from other people's stories, you can learn from other people's experience, you can ask questions, and you'll find someone
Yeah.
encouraging you, supporting you. It's right there. It's just out there. And thank you. So sometimes people think they do not have any support. It might not be, you may not find it where you're searching for it, but just
Yes.
know that they are out there,
Yeah.
either offline or online. It's how they are out there.
Yeah.
And was there any time, I know that you have been blessed to have people to support you,
Yeah.
but when you started this coaching business, was there any form of rejection? Did anyone tell you, go get a real job?
Yeah. Sometimes I think sometimes people who become entrepreneurs, they think like you're crazy.
Yeah,
Why all the hassle? Why all the
yeah,
challenges and difficulties and how do you say that? Not only challenge but the risks. It's
yeah,
like taking
the
a
risk.
risk. Um, yes, that's the case. Sometimes people say that, but you know what? What I discovered is that a lot of people
Mhm.
want what you and I or others are doing.
Right,
And that's why
right,
they
mhm,
voice a kind of rejection.
right,
Because somewhere for a lot of people say, "Ah, you again on the stage," or "Why are you doing
mhm,
that?" And people maybe have an opinion about you, or "Why
mhm,
are you on camera or doing a Facebook live or
mhm,
going on a podcast interview?"
mhm.
I know that, but my driver is not the opinion of people.
It's not.
My driver is the one person
Yeah,
that I can impact with my life,
thank you.
because others
Hmm.
did that for me. They shared something via a book, interview, YouTube, podcast, or whatever medium or platform,
Yeah,
and that inspired me.
right,
So that's online, but also offline. So
yeah,
if I can do that in return for someone else, it's all worth it.
yeah.
And what I try to do
Hmm.
is not to listen to what others say,
What others' opinion?
because I know that somewhere many times, not for everybody, but somewhere
Hmm.
deep
Hmm.
inside for many people, is they want what you have.
Yeah.
And that's why they just have an opinion about it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody may have an opinion because that's the world we live in, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not
Yeah.
focusing. I'm not focusing on that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing how you handle that. Another thing which I would like to add to that is
Mm,
sometimes people are not comfortable with change,
yes.
and what you're doing is totally different from the way they've known you before, and they're uncomfortable
Yeah.
and they just can't accept it. But they might not be as inspired as you are in what you do.
Mm,
So we just allow them to show up the way they are and just
yeah.
know what
Yeah.
drives you.
Yeah.
And with that, we will be freeing ourselves
Oh, I love that.
from all those kind of mindsets that will set us back or slow us down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, change scares people.
yeah,
Because if everything is, on the surface,
yeah,
that's okay for everybody. But
then
when you go a little bit up the
yeah,
surface,
yeah,
then
right.
it's like, okay, but
You say what?
that's uncomfortable, that's
Yeah,
unknown, that's
right,
new.
right, right.
So a lot of people are afraid of change. But
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, I'm also sometimes afraid of change.
Yeah, which
It's
is
not that
normal.
it's
Yeah.
not that I'm not afraid of
Mm-hmm.
change,
Mm-hmm.
but I make a decision to do the thing that I'm afraid of,
Yeah,
because then I learn and grow.
yeah.
I, I do that with
Yeah,
my own podcast.
that,
I do that with speaking in public.
that,
I, I didn't like that also. I'm writing my book currently as I'm speaking with you.
right.
So I'm really far in writing a book for the first time.
Yeah.
That's also something I postponed for 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm doing it.
Only that,
And
okay.
now I'm starting to love it. So that's the weird thing. Some things we fear, if we start to take small action steps in the direction of our fear, we
Right,
conquer our fear.
right. Thank you so much. So, was there any time that finance was an issue?
Yeah, in the past, when
And
I was
how did
young,
you handle that? Yeah.
yeah, when I was younger in my teenage years and my young adult years, maybe that's a good personal story to share. Is I'm married with my youth love for almost 21 years, and
Oh, that's
and we and we
beautiful.
are and we are together for 20, almost 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 27 years almost.
Wow. Wow.
And before we got married, I was 10,000, let's say $10,000 in debt, uh,
Okay.
approximately. Yeah, it was Dutch amount, but it's almost similar.
Okay.
And you make stupid decisions when you're younger,
Yeah.
some impulsive decisions, and then the debt starts to pile up to
Keep piling
10,000.
up. I know.
Oh my God. But we said two things. We said two things before we going to marry.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have our debt paid off. That was one. And the
Wow.
second thing was we want to have an own house to live in.
Wow.
And not in an apartment, but
Yeah.
own place.
A place of your
And
own.
yeah, a place of our own. And then, what the thing was with that is that we made decisions in that time. My girlfriend then, my wife, she
Mm-hmm.
went back to
Mm-hmm.
live with her parents. I
Oh.
started to live in a smaller room to have a cheaper rent,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to work extra hours to pay off my debt.
Wow.
And I can remember, and this is,
Wow.
I had a small apartment, one room with a kitchen, a toilet, and the bathroom we shared with more people in the same apartment block.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all the boxes with all our stuff in there. I
Wow.
had them piled up at the wall to the ceiling. So I had approximately like 2 by 2 meters to move in that apartment.
Wow. Wow.
But we did that. I did that. I scaled it down to pay up my debts. And within 1 year, $10,000
Wow. In
was
that
paid
time?
off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't, my wife always said like, oh yeah, I could bring the most money for our marriage. I didn't have that. I think I had 700 or 800 dollars or something like it. So I paid off 10,000 and I could save a little bit, and then we got married. But that's okay. The
Yeah.
goal was not start a marriage
Yeah.
with financial problems, because the most arguments and struggles in a marriage,
Yeah.
m- many
Yeah.
times, they come from
That's
financial
right.
issues.
That's right.
And that was, I think, only the only period in our life
Mm-hmm.
that we had that. And we
Wow.
decided um, to not live in debt or with financial issues. Otherwise, just scale it down. Yes,
Yeah.
live simpler
Mm-hmm.
to without debt than
Mm-hmm.
live out of your possibilities,
Yeah.
financial possibilities, and get into trouble.
Yeah.
And we
That's
still do
right.
that today.
That's right.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing.
yeah, you're
And
welcome.
and I'm sure this is going to be useful for a lot of our audience because Many people are drowning in debt and they don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. This is very insightful.
Yeah.
And you just show that because $10,000 20 something years ago is huge.
Yeah. That was a
It's
huge amount.
huge. And you paid that off in 1 year.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I know that you mentioned one of this in your discussion while you were talking, but I just want to know when you were talking about routine. But I also want to know if there was a time when you started this that you felt tired and you had some negative thoughts, you were thinking of giving up or
Yeah.
stopping what you were doing. How
Yeah.
did you handle that?
Yeah. I think that's sometimes the strange thing, because the honest answer is not that I never have difficult times.
Okay,
But I can remember a specific one because how many years ago is that now? I think around 6 years ago,
okay,
7 years ago. I really had 3 years where I went through a difficult situation, and that had a huge impact also on our family life.
okay.
My beautiful wife, Suzanne, always says, for 3.5 years, I carried the burden of our
Oh,
marriage and our family life,
wow.
because I felt discouraged, if
Mm,
I had failed,
mm-hmm,
and I went to work, I did all my obligations, but I wasn't emotionally and mentally present. I was physically, I was
mm-hmm,
there, but I
mm-hmm,
wasn't
mm-hmm.
there to carry the burden of family life also together.
Yeah,
And it took a while. It took a while struggling with myself, struggling in my head, struggling in my mind, because
wow.
it was almost 3.5 years.
Wow.
And my second TED talk is about this topic, how our relationship got restored again.
Wow.
And that's why I always stress everything starts with a decision. And
Yeah,
why I say that is that I got inspired by a movie that I saw when I felt really in a dark place.
yeah,
Um, I still don't know the title anymore of the movie, but I know that the movie made an
yeah.
impression
Wow.
because in the movie, a man went to the market every Friday to buy flowers for his lady.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
when I saw that in that movie, that touched me so deeply. Although I was in a difficult space in my
Yeah.
mind and in my situation, it touched me so much that I said, you know what? Um, in a brief moment, I said, my relationship is more precious
Yeah.
than everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
started to buy a rose of flowers for Suzanne, for my wife,
Wow.
every
Wow.
Friday. And the first time I came home with the flowers, she said, I don't want your flowers. I want you to change. And it's understandable because
Yeah.
she was struggling also for a while because of my situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I was stubborn and I kept on doing that every Friday. And then slowly, gradually, our relationship started to improve. We
Yeah.
started to talk more. I started to ask questions.
Mm,
I started to become vulnerable and ask questions like, what do you
yeah.
like about me? What did dislike about me?
Yeah.
We started to have date nights again, and then slowly the relationship started to grow, and we grew together once more.
Wow.
Um, but what I want to stress about this is today we have the best relationship that we ever had, even before all this.
Wow.
What I want to stress is that it starts with a decision, not with a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I had waited until I felt doing this,
Mm-hmm.
I maybe waited for many, many years, or
Yeah.
maybe the relationship would be over.
Yeah.
And I think that that's with a lot of things. Sometimes people don't want to stand up in the morning because they don't feel like it, because, pressure of life, stress,
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Uh, there are moments maybe we don't want to do, I don't want to record podcast interviews or do certain responsibilities or whatever it may be. But when I'm stuck in
Yeah.
my mind or in a difficult situation,
Yeah.
I just go back and I know, okay, what's the small decision that I have to make, or even a
Okay.
bigger decision?
Wow.
But decisions change situations.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
feeling, and this is it, I'm a feeling person by
Mhm.
nature.
Mhm.
But what I know is if you decide somewhere down the line, your feelings
Mhm.
also, uh, your feelings also will become a part of the journey.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but it starts with a decision.
Yeah.
Starts with a decision to
Wow.
forgive. But
Yes.
sometimes we don't want to forgive. We are angry.
Yeah.
We are bitter. We want
Yeah.
to take revenge.
Yeah.
But you forgive,
Mhm.
and then slowly, somewhere,
Yeah.
sometimes fast, sometimes but slower,
Mm.
the
Yeah.
feeling will come into alignment also.
Wow. Thank you. This has been a wonderful time with you, Lee. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing all of this information. Thank you for sharing all of this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
These are so, so good. I can't find the right words to describe this, but I am so excited to have you, and I am so happy that you showed up. So
Yeah.
now, if our audience would like to reach you,
Yes.
where can they reach you?
Yeah. Yeah. On all social media platforms, if you look up Lee Immerzeel, LEE, yeah, you can see it in the screen
Yeah,
of my face on the bottom. So on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, yeah, so many platforms. And of course, I have my own podcast show also,
yeah,
the Lee Immerzeel Show. It's bite-sized weekly content about public speaking, TEDx, and also mindset. So you can look it up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
yeah.
and I'm there to talk to you. And of course, not to forget the
Mhm.
website. My website is
Yeah.
leeimmerzeel.com, and there also people can find me. So they can send me a message, reach out to me. Um, Feel free to do that.
Wow. Thank you so much. All of you are gonna find the link on the description section so
Mhm.
that you can easily access Lee. And yeah, you need to subscribe to his podcast because this man is loaded. And thank you for making yourself available. I can see you next time. Thank you for staying till the end of the program. And I am so happy for you. I'm so thankful for you, Lee, for showing up and sharing all of this. And
Yeah,
thank you for not giving up.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. My pleasure that I could share it, and I hope that I could inspire someone with my journey and my lessons that I learned in life.
yeah. Bye for now. Yeah, it's been so good. I hope it's not almost. What time is your podcast? I was checking the time.